Greetings everyone! In the third part, we will continue our journey through ancient times and the early Middle Ages. During this period, various civilizations emerged, such as Roman Empire, ancient Greece, Mesopotamia, the ancient Jewish civilization, Egypt, the first Persian Empire, ancient China, and India. In Europe and Northern Asia, notable peoples included the Celts, Germans, Goths, Dacians, Scythians, and Huns. If we look at Eastern and Western civilizations, we can see that further east we go, the less people interfere with creation and nature. They let things take their course, which can lead to a kind of struggle. However, in the West, people tend to be more materialistic, causing more rumbling and interference with nature. Furthermore, when we look at people from the northern and southern regions, we can see that in the north, more effort needs to be put into survival. As a result, they have a greater respect for nature and for each other. In the southern regions, particularly in desert areas, people tend to perceive themselves as greater than nature. The oldest civilizations emerged in Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, around 4000 BCE. Sumerian, Akkadian, and Assyrian cultures inhabited the region in the early period. They had a polytheistic religion. In this region, Hammurabi became known for his code of laws and the old Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar was the most significant ruler of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. He conquered Phoenicia and Palestine, where he captured the Jews, leading to the Babylonian captivity. Later, the region became part of the Persian Empire. Around 3000 BCE, along the banks of the Nile River, another advanced civilization emerged known as Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian society was hierarchical, with the highest power held by the pharaoh, the divine king. The pharaohs were considered as descendants of the gods themselves, and their power extended throughout the entire kingdom. The name Ramses comes from the name of god Ra, which means the child of Ra. Ra is the sun god. The size of the pyramids was determined by the power and the wealth of the pharaohs. The largest pyramids belonged to Pharaoh Khufu. Their tombs were equipped with food, utensils, and decorative objects. The last and the most famous ruler of the Hellenistic period was Cleopatra VII. She initially gained significant influence as the lover of Julius Caesar and later of his general Marcus Antonius. However, in the end, she was defeated by Augustus, a rival of Antonius, in 30 BC, and both she and Antonius were driven to commit suicide. Around 1500 BC, kingdoms were established in the Yellow and the Blue River valleys. China's approach was hindered by the Himalayas and the ancient forests to the south, as well as by the Pacific Ocean. In the north, the Great Wall of China was built. Qin Shi Huangdi, the most famous ruler, unified the country, built the Great Wall, and initiated the creation of the famous Terracotta Army. Originally, the statues were colored, but only traces of paint remained in some places. The army consisted of 8,000 soldiers. The purpose of the structure and the statues was to ensure the emperor's power in the afterlife. The presence of the soldiers and the West's ceramic empire served to intimidate potential enemies and provide protection for the emperor's spirit. We owe to China the inventions of printing, gunpowder used for fireworks, the clock, compass, porcelain, acupuncture, and tea. Additionally, martial arts originated in the Far East. The concept of yin and yang helps to understand the opposing forces and their harmonious balance in the world. Confucius advocated for moral education, while Taoism promoted the harmony between humans and nature, so the simple life and self-sufficiency. In addition, shamanism and folk religions were also present, where ancestor worship was fundamental. Indus Valley civilization existed approximately between 2600 BCE and 1900 BCE. They had a developed water system. The Vedic period, spanning from around 1500 BCE to 600 BCE, marks the Vedic era in ancient India, which began with the arrival of the Indo-Aryan people of Indo-European origin. They created the religious and cultural traditions preserved in the sacred text known as the Rig Veda. This period represents the formation of Hinduism and Vedic culture. Hindu religious practices exhibit a diversity of rituals. People participate in worship ceremonies, pray, make offerings, recite mantras, and embark on religious pilgrimages to sacred places. What makes Hinduism unique is its openness to embracing different religious views. They believe in the concept of reincarnation, wherein the soul constantly reborn and accumulates experiences through different lifetimes. Through these experiences and life lessons, the soul evolves and undergoes spiritual growth. The ultimate goal is for individuals to attain moksha, liberation or enlightenment, and break free from the cycle of eternal rebirth. The caste system is based on the classification of four main castes. Buddhism originated in the 6th century BCE with the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, also known as Buddha. Buddhism primarily seeks to understand the cause of human suffering and find liberation from it. The main cause of suffering is considered to be desire. In Buddhism, two fundamental concepts are reincarnation and karma. According to reincarnation, the soul is reborn in different bodies until it reaches the enlightenment and liberation, the state of nirvana. Karma, on the other hand, refers to the law of actions and deeds, which influences current and future lives. The religion followed in the old Persian Empire was Zoroastrianism. It is fundamentally a dualistic religion that sees the world as a battleground between good and evil forces. Fire worship occupies a central place in their religious practices, as they consider fire to be a sacred element symbolizing divine purity and light. Believers in Zoroastrianism also hold the beliefs of soul transmigration and the ultimate judgment. Based on justice and moral conduct, an individual's soul will either reach happiness and eternal life or suffer and perish. The downfall of the empire occurred when the Persian ruler Darius III was defeated by Alexander the Great, and the Achaemenid Empire became a part of the Macedonian conquest. During ancient Greece, in the Hellenic period, around 1600 BC to 1100 BC, Greek tribes and city-states emerged. It was during this time that Greek myths also originated. The ancient Greeks held numerous religious ceremonies in which they offered sacrifices and prayers to the gods. Religious festivals and celebrations also played an important role in the practice of Greek religion, such as the Olympic Games, which were held in honor of Zeus. In the cultural life of that time, theaters played a significant role, where they performed dramas. These could have served as effective tools for propaganda purposes of that era. The founding of Rome took place in 753 BC, and the period of kingship lasted until 509 BC. According to mythical tradition, 7 kings ruled here. This was followed by the Republican period, 509 BC to 27 BC. This system was based on the division of power led by the Senate and the 2 consuls. During the Republican period, Rome continuously expanded, conquering and assimilating other territories into its empire. In 60 BC, the Triumvirate was formed, which was a political alliance. Then came the Imperial period, 27 BC to 476 AD, beginning with the rule of Augustus. The Roman Empire had one of the most advanced civilizations. We owe to the Romans the roads, concrete, central heating, the calendar, toilets and the sewer system, which will be discussed in another video. Some admired the empire, but there were also those who viewed them hostilely, especially from the perspective of the occupied tribes. 3 main emotions could be present: respect, hatred and fear, because not only those who were occupied feared, but also the citizens. Civilized people are less able to be independent, meaning they are in a vulnerable position. The Huns and the Scythians lived in a nomadic lifestyle, and their empire spanned a wide territory, which allowed them to have a clear view of what was happening in the east and the west. The Hun Empire flourished in the 4th and 5th centuries. Attila was its greatest ruler, known as the Scourge of God. After his death, the empire quickly disintegrated. They were known for their bravery and cruel military strategies. Loyalty and honor were fundamental values to them. Additionally, shamanism played an important role among the Huns. They launched many successful campaigns against the Romans, occupied the Germanic tribes and attacked the Roman Empire alongside them. The Romans derogatorily referred to them as barbarians. Their moral and cultural world was completely different. While the story of Romulus and Remus in Rome ends with fratricide, the Huns stood as each other's background protectors at any cost. Julius Caesar was also killed by his own son. As a means of entertainment, Roman politicians invented spectacles such as gladiator fights. This system eventually led to chaos. Attila, the Hun-Hungarian king, Grand Prince, military leader, philosopher, diplomat, judge, husband, father, horseman, archer, sword expert, teacher, preserver of traditions, and most likely a high priest, had a multifaceted life. Hungarian historical sources have been erased, and foreign records were written with a hostile perspective. He was highly educated and spoke multiple languages. The Scourge of God, also known the Judging Christ, dealt with justice through actions. In his youth, within a generation, he conquered Europe and Central Asia. He was the first to attempt to create a united Europe under Hungarian rule. Unable to prevent this, his Western enemies took his life in the spring of 453. Tyranny, slavery, and fear could not be stopped. Thus the destruction and rumbling continued until the present day. The third chakra is the solar plexus chakra. It corresponds to the sun's energy and light, symbolizing the power and radiance of the sun. Located in our energy center, it houses the warrior within us. Life purpose, strengthening self-awareness, spiritual role, depending on the strength of our will, it either channels our own will or absorbs the will of others. It connects to the third mental layer of aura, where thoughts, mental processes, and our willpower manifest. Associated with this chakra are illnesses related to worry, fear, and anxiety, and suppressed aggression, which can be felt around the stomach area. On the physical level, it relates to digestive problems, while on the emotional level, it involves the digestion of our emotions. If this chakra is underactive, it may manifest as lack of self-confidence, fear, listlessness, a constant need for validation, placing excessive importance on others' opinions, a fear of solitude, a sense of failure, dependence, and nervousness. In such cases, it is beneficial to confront our shadow side and examine our dreams. Expressing aggression playfully or through martial arts can also be helpful. If it is overactive, typical characteristics include domineering behavior, judgmental tendencies, arrogant superiority, disregarding others' feelings and will, anger, and workaholism. In this case as well, addressing our shadow side and engaging in physical activities can be beneficial. Harmonizing images for this chakra include fire, the sight of a candle flame, and sunbathing. Thank you for watching this long video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.